Welcome. Tonight I want to ask the biggest question in the universe. Not is there life out there, but why we haven't found it. The universe has been around for 13.8 billion years and contains trillions of galaxies, yet we see no one. There is a name for the answer that explains this silence, and it is called the Great Filter. Here is the unsettling part. What it says about them may matter less than what it says about us. Let me show you why. Start with the paradox. In 1950, over lunch, Enrico Fermi asked a simple question. Where is everybody? Given the age and size of the universe, the galaxy should be crowded with advanced civilizations. By the numbers, even slow interstellar travel could cross the entire Milky Way in about 1 million years, a blink in cosmic time. And yet, after decades of listening, we hear nothing. That gap between what should be and what we observe is Fermi's paradox. It is the single most important silence in science. The Great Filter is one answer to that paradox. Imagine that life must climb a series of steps to reach the stars, and that at least one of those steps is almost impossible to pass. That step is the filter. It removes nearly every civilization before it can announce itself. This isn't a fringe idea. It's one of the most widely discussed resolutions to Fermi's paradox. Notice the logic. The silence isn't a mystery to explain away. It's evidence that something out there is very, very hard. And once you accept that, a harder question follows: where is that filter relative to us? The idea has a name attached to it. In 1998, the economist Hanson published an essay with a title that already tells you the stakes. The Great Filter. Are we almost past it? Hanson's move was to reframe the paradox as a sequence of improbable steps rather than a single lucky accident. If any one step is nearly impossible, silence becomes the expected outcome, not a surprise. Hanson isn't a physicist, he's an economist, and that matters because he's really asking about probabilities, trade-offs, and risk. That's exactly the lens we need. And now we arrive at the only question that actually matters. The filter's location changes everything. If the filter is behind us, if life already cleared its hardest steps, then we are rare, and the silence is almost good news. But if the filter is ahead of us, then every advanced civilization may be heading toward the same wall. The difference between those two answers isn't academic. It's the difference between comfort and a warning. So let's look at both futures side by side. Here are the two futures in one view. On the left, the filter is behind us. Life already survived the hard parts, going from chemistry to cells, from cells to complex organisms, from organisms to intelligence. In that world, intelligence is simply rare, and we've already won the hardest lottery. On the right, the filter is still ahead. The barrier might be nuclear war, an engineered pandemic, or an artificial intelligence we can't control. That version turns the silence of the cosmos into a warning. Same data, completely opposite meaning, and that's why this matters. Let's make that latter concrete, because each rung is a candidate for the filter. First, abiogenesis, life from raw chemistry, then single-celled life that can replicate, then the leap to multicellular complexity, then intelligence that builds tools and civilizations, and finally, the step we haven't taken, becoming spacefaring and visible across the galaxy. Here's the key insight. The filter doesn't have to be one dramatic event. It could be any one of these rungs being far more improbable than we assume. The more rungs behind us, the safer we are. Hanson put the chilling conclusion in his own words: there seems to be a developmental step so difficult it filters out nearly all civilizations. Read that again. Nearly all. That means the quiet night sky is less like an empty room and more like a graveyard we can't see into. And the logic has a cruel symmetry. The more likely it is that other life reaches our stage, the worse our own odds of surviving the future. The universe is giving us a probability statement, and we're still trying to decide if we're reading it correctly. To be fair, the Great Filter is a hypothesis, not a proven law. Some physicists argue interstellar travel may simply be impossible. Not hard, but impossible, which would explain the silence without any doom. Others suggest we might just be early, the first intelligent life in a long cosmic story. And there are deeper alternatives, simulation, fine-tuning, even selection, that we can't currently test. I'll grant all of that. But notice what every one of these escapes still demands. We cannot afford to treat our survival as guaranteed. That is the one conclusion no objection weakens. So here's where I'll leave you. The Great Filter isn't a riddle about aliens. It's a mirror held up to us. Every civilization that ever vanished was someone's us, confident and busy and sure there was time. The best answer to where is everybody is to make sure we never become the answer. That means taking existential risks seriously, from AI to biosecurity to getting off this single planet. The silence isn't a comfort. It's a challenge. Let's earn our way through.